Hi, everybody. Ron Onesti here from Rock and Roll Heaven, the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, with a very, very crazy night of artists on lockdown, hanging and banging with my two brothers, Carmine Apiece, Vinny Appice. Vinny, of course, from Dio, from Last in Line, of course, Black Sabbath. Let's bring Vinny on the air. Vinny, how you doing? How was your week, brother? Nice.
Oh
We're
my
finally
God.
getting some drum work on this show.
I know, right?
What do you got, a pad there?
I got a pad here and I actually got a book. This is the book I went through, Stick Control, it's called.
No, is that your book?
No, this is from 1938.
Oh my God, look at that.
Everybody went through this book who is somebody. This book is unbelievable. And it's the Bible. It's the Bible, one of the Bible books, you know.
Well, then if everybody who's somebody went through that book, let's bring our big brother, the legend himself from Vanilla Fudge, Rod Stewart, Jeff Beck, and so many other projects, Carmine Apiece.
No!
Damn it!
What was
I was
that?
so close. I was so
Screwed
close.
it up.
I was so
Holy
close.
shit.
Let's take two. Hi, Carm.
You can't, it's too
This
late.
is the stick control book done with the sticks.
All right, so let's see. Wait, what's the shirt of the week? So is it an actual? You do that a lot. Is it an actual drill?
This? A drill?
Yeah.
No, I just can play anything on any solo. I can play anything on this.
What happens when you're playing for a long time and you get older? You start doing this shit.
You know, I don't know what.
Let me tell you a funny story with this, right? When I was learning it, I was walking around the studio with Rod Stewart going like this, all over the studio. Finally, he said, "Can you please stop?" And I stopped. You know,
He was stifling sheer talent there. Hey,
Hey Ron, what's with that shirt, man?
Oh, come on!
That looks like a cardboard cutout or something.
It
What
isn't.
is it?
I've had this for many, many years. Let's talk about your brother's shirt today, will you please?
yeah, I have
My
it's a
sister's
little.
shirt.
Mine's a bit of sparkle to it. See, and
I love that New York sparkle.
I don't think I wore this one yet.
No, it looks good. Looks good. Hey,
My sister wants it back.
I know.
hey, doesn't she want her headband back?
Oh!
Hold on.
I never get to throw a shot at Vinny. Come on, give it to me this time, please.
You can't make fun of my shirt.
I know.
It's the standard
I can't see your shirt.
black shirt. Yeah.
Hey. We have got an incredible show tonight because not only do we have two legendary drummers on this show, but tonight it's bass heaven. Two legendary bassists.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited. I've had the honor and privilege to present both these guys at the Arcada Theater, just like you gentlemen. And I'm going to bring them on. Oh my gosh, I can't really talk about the bands they've been on because we don't have that much time on the show. But basically, you know, I mean, first of all, Billy Sheehan, Winery Dog, Sons of Apollo, so many other projects we're going to talk about. Let's bring Billy on the air. Billy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, man.
And we got another young man, another bass legend, which again, I can't believe we're getting this show is, of course, with you legends, we're getting these guys. Tony Franklin, Kenny Wayne Shepherd of late, but so many other projects. We're going to talk about that as well. Let's bring Tony Franklin on the air. Hi, Tony.
Yay!
Nice. So, you guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I know, Tony, you're in California. Billy, you're out still down south in Nashville, right?
Yes, sir.
So we got a lot to talk about. But you know what? I want to touch on something right off the bat. And we're not going to keep doing with regards to Eddie Van Halen. You know, last week we had a tremendous tribute. And the week before, obviously, was the week that he had passed. But we had a tribute to Eddie Van Halen, and we don't want to, keep going with that. I mean, everybody knows, everybody has the feeling for him. Everybody misses him, and it was all terrible. But Billy, you obviously had some tremendous connection there with some of the some of the projects, obviously David Lee Roth project. You obviously with Talus, you opened for Van Halen for a bunch of time. So give me your little take on Eddie V, would you?
Oh, what a beautiful, sweet man. He changed the world. He changed the world of guitar completely.
Yeah.
And when Van Halen came out, the whole world was Haircut 100 and Flock of Seagulls and Skinny Ties. And Van Halen, like a bulldozer, came in and changed it all. And everyone on the screen here, I'm sure, was happy about that. But he was just a wonderful man, and he was incredibly kind, incredibly generous, and to have known him at all was a great, great honor.
You know, Billy, without getting too deep into the drama of it all, but you know what? I see the David Lee Roth band that you're involved with. You know, you were inside, and there was, I don't even mean politics, but that drama thing. I mean, was that relationship truly volatile between Eddie V and David Lee Roth, or was it more hype?
Well, when you get two extremely creative people together in the same room, that's going to happen. But in the end, as many of us know, but in the end, I know there was a great mutual respect there. It's unavoidable between all of them, I think, I venture to say. So that's a good thing. You know, as we get older, you know, all of us are, and when you're in a band, bands fight. All of us know. You get in a fight, and it happens, and the fight goes away, and you get on the stage, you have a good time. So, you know, as we get older, all of us look back, and you know, there's no reason to hold any ill will. And it was just wonderful to see Dave do a post about Ed that was really just from the heart, and he meant it.
Yeah.
It was nice to see. You know, a lot of people didn't know really what was going to happen because of that. You know, what his position was. Of course, it was going to be, you know, sentimental and everything, but to what degree? And I love what you just said, because you know we've talked to a lot of people, everybody from Nugent to so many other people about Eddie Van Halen. But what you said about how it took away that '80s, you know, the Flock of Seagulls style that was prevalent at that time and bulldoze it. I haven't heard that. I mean, that analogy. You know, that's a really, really good way of putting it.
And nothing against those bands.
Of course not. Of course not. Yeah.
But every band goes along, and the style changes, and the old guys most of the old guys get pushed away, and the new ones come in. You know, when the Beatles came, everybody had to wash the Brill cream out of their hair and change their hairstyle and wear different shoes. You know, so these things happen. But
actually, Billy, we have a surprise for you. We have the singer from Flock of Seagulls here.
Oh, right.
Bring him in.
Yes, he's staying.
Hey, he's wearing a tie too.
And I ran.
All right, tell him to get the Flock off of the show, will you please?
Oh,
hey, so
nice.
anyway, Tony Franklin, welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, hey, it's great to be here.
What you been up to during all this crazy COVIDness?
COVIDness. Well, you know, typically as musicians, we're either at home or we're on the road. And so I just get into my home routine, and I do a lot of recording sessions from home. Have my studio here, and, you know, the internet has opened up the whole world for recording. So I just carried on doing that. I've been doing a lot, pretty much constantly. So I'm very, very thankful for that. You know, people are at home and they want to complete their music that they've been putting off for years. So they finally got some time. So I've been doing a lot of work and my own creative stuff too. I've had a whole backlog of songs that I've wanted to create and finish off and just get them done, so I can get them out there into the world and whatever's going to happen. I'm not seeing it being a solo album or a band. You know, I'm more thinking of licensing and publishing opportunities. So there's that, and then finally finishing off my memoir, which has been many years in the.
Oh, nice. Is it a tell-all? Is it a tell-all? Is it a TMZ?
Knowing Tony, it's only telling some.
Well, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of that. I mean, I've been very fortunate to be around some amazing situations, musicians and bands. So, you know, to me, it's more about the musical journey and I want to say the spiritual journey as well, because Carmine knows, we've known each other for 30 years, and you know, he's seen me overcome some big demons and overcome a lot of stuff, and so I really want to share. But also, I'm get very introspective in it, where seeing how things connect, and you don't get to see that until you the bigger picture of life. You know, you stand back and see, well, you know, that was really messed up at the time, but it actually worked out for the best. It's funny how things have a way of turning out for the right. So it's very fascinating. I get very kind of reflective through it all and see how things, you know, pan out and work out. Sometimes it's almost like beyond your control, but there is a rhyme and a reason to it all. It's pretty fascinating to me. So there's very much that side, but also sprinkled with some fantastic rock and roll stories along the way.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Which you do have.
Hey, you know,
there's been a lot of amazing ones, and you've witnessed quite a few of those.
Oh yes, I did.
I want to hear about the ones you forgot about there, Carm. I really do.
Well, I have a lot that I forgot about.
The Mud Shark. The Mud Shark.
Oh,
the
no.
Mud Shark.
The Mud Shark's already in the book.
But he was innocently not really there. He peeked in the door, and you know.
Yeah.
I read that part.
You know, Carmine. You know, Billy touched on the fact about, you know, this whole. I'm going back a flock of seagulls as actually the topic for today, but it's interesting. But it's an interesting dynamic because obviously, you know, you've been so prevalent and so relevant from decade to decade to decade, and I mean. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, even now we're talking about, we're doing, you know, we were going to do by us anyway with, you know, a Cactus tour, obviously still doing Fudge. You guys are doing the Wars. You're still doing that music. So my question is, as decade or genre or style went from style to style, how was it a battle for you to think, did you guys ever have that conversation? Hey, maybe we should cut our hair. Maybe we should make it longer. Maybe we should do this, maybe to conform. You know, or was it like, you know what, we are who we are?
I always try to stay in style, you know, like when Eddie Van Halen came out, I think I was wearing a skinny tie at that point.
Really?
Yeah. I was playing with Rod Stewart at the time.
Oh, right.
Well, that's why.
Stewart, and Rod was always fashionable and all that, you know, but we had a rocking band in those days. So when Eddie came out, you know, when I met him, I didn't know it, but they praising Cactus, my Cactus band. I said that before, and you know, when I heard Eruption, I said, "Wow, this is the beginning of one of our songs." And Eddie told me, "Yeah, we borrowed that," and then when they came out with Hot for Teacher, Alex told me that the template for that was Cactus Parchment Farm.
Oh yeah,
as Billy knows, well, Billy was a Cactus fan as well.
Well, I sure am.
It's funny, you know, Billy was a very big Tim Bogert fan, and Tony really wasn't back in the day. But Tony played a lot like Tim, but on fretless, except Tony held a better groove. Tony knew when. I used to tell Tim, just groove. But Tim was an animal. He was like you know, like you do the same thing, Billy. When you want to get out there, you go out, and then you come back. But Tim was always out. And I used to say to Tim, why don't you come back a little bit so when you go out, people realize how far out you've been, you know?
Yeah.
But Tony never heard Tim, and I was very amazed at that because he played a lot like Tim, you know? And we gelled together from the very first time I played with him and John Sykes. It was like that. And
you know, the fascinating thing with all this, because there's a common thread. When I joined the firm, I knew nothing. In fact, I was not a fan of Led Zeppelin in the slightest. I knew none of their material. I didn't really know anything.
Wow.
I hadn't heard. It was me fast forward to play Madison Square Garden with Jimmy Page in the firm. I still hadn't heard Stairway to Heaven.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Really?
Wow. I was not really thinking, you know, what would John Paul Jones do? And so I didn't, honestly, with every respect, I didn't know much about you. I didn't know anything
I know you did. I know.
So,
yeah.
You know, I just went into it with fresh ears, doing my thing, thinking what would work for this musical situation.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating in hindsight, really. I mean, kind of naive, really, but at the same time, I guess it served me because I took the fretless along, and that's my thing. And you know, if
well, that's what turned me on to you when I heard you with the firm. I said, when I heard this group Blue Murder was getting together with Sykes, who I loved with Whitesnake, I said, dude, And then Cozy was playing with me. I said, that damn Cozy gets all the good gigs, you know? And then I heard he was gone, and I specifically went to England where Vinny was playing with Dio so I could find out how to get to you guys.
How did you find out?
Chris Welsh, Melody Maker. He told me how to get a hold of Ron's stepdad, John's stepdad.
Yep.
I called him and I set up the meeting to come out. I had to rent a car, and I drove all the way out there listening to one. I had one cassette tape in my car. It was "Permanent Vacation" by Aerosmith. That's all I listened to the whole 3-hour drive. And I got there, and Tony met me at 3 a.m. And then he immediately brought me into the hotel, and he broke open the bar.
Nice.
They knew me there. They said, it's okay. Yeah, let yourself in. And so I put a credit card underneath the latch of the bar and let myself in. And
Yeah.
Nice.
drink, sir.
That's a pretty American way of doing things, Tony.
Yeah, man.
That really is. That's like a New York. That's like an upstate Buffalo where this guy's from. Really, so, right?
Yeah, right.
You know what, Tony? You know, and I was the whole firm thing, and it's really interesting to hear your naivete when you were, you know, getting with that, because, you know, maybe do you think that helped you in a sense of, you know, if you really knew all about Zeppelin, you knew about Jimmy Page, the level that he was at, you think that might have been a little bit more intimidating, a little bit more difficult for you, as opposed to walking in, you know, somewhat blind to that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, got to bear in mind I was 22 years old, and people ask me, how do you handle working with Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers? I said, well, I wasn't intimidated for those reasons, because I didn't know much about them. And so, you know, it didn't throw me off. I didn't see him as like, I mean, I'm more in awe of him now that
Sure.
I stand back and see his legacy and all that he created. And that it's like, wow, I was part of that at 22 years, 23, 24 years old. That was.
What were you doing, Tony? What were you doing before that?
Well, I was working with Roy Harper, and of course, you know, him and Jimmy go way back, and I'd done 7 or so albums with Roy and a bunch of touring. But I was also with a disco band called the Night Catchers. And, so I was just working different things. And then Roy called me up and said, hey, I'm going to be making a new album. Jimmy Page is going to be playing on it. Are you available? I said, yeah, of course. And so it was more of a hang. It wasn't like, oh, here's Jimmy Page. It was like, hey, we just want to make a good album. It was very relaxed, very organic, and we just kind of wanted to make a good album. And then we played a couple of small dates, and that led on to the firm. It was it felt very. There was a feeling of inevitability to it, but at the same time, I wasn't asked to be in the band immediately. I was asked if I wanted to sit in on the rehearsals. The rehearsals went on for about 5 or 6 weeks, and they were rehearsing the album. And at the end of it, I said, hey, you want to be in the band? And we were straight in the studio, and everything was like first take, and it was so quick and easy. So it was always
same thing when I went to play with Sabbath the first time. I knew who they were, but I wasn't a big Sabbath fan.
Really?
Yeah, I just heard Ronnie. I wasn't a big Dio fan either. I heard Ronnie sing on, you know, Man on the Silver Mountain and Long Live Rock and Roll. And then I heard Neon Nights on the radio. I went, wow, that new singer in Sabbath is really good. You know, it sounds fantastic. And then a week later, I get a call to go down there. So I handled it like Tony, just go down and, okay, what do we need to do? You know, what's going to happen here? And I wasn't like a fanboy or anything. I wasn't a big Sabbath fan. You know, I heard them, I loved them, but I was more of a Zeppelin fan. So, but we handled it.
Let's hear Billy's story of getting into the first big band.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't know. I just, Talus went on tour with Van Halen in 1980.
Right.
Did about 30 shows on. October 3rd was our 40-year anniversary of that tour. And
Wow.
And then I just kind of stayed in touch. And then out of nowhere in summer of 85, Dave's office called my office, and they wanted me to talk with Dave about being in his movie. And I said, his
Wow.
what?
Wow.
his movie? So when I got to L.A. to open for Yngwie, Tallis and Yngwie tour, I went out to his house and he goes, "Well, there is a movie, but that's not the real reason." So he kept it kind of on the down low of what the real story was. And he said, "I quit Van Halen," and wow. And I go, he goes, "Let's find a guitar player and a drummer and start a band." I said, "I'm in." That was it.
So what was he doing? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the David Lee Roth band. Was he doing some of the Van Halen songs, or was it just all original new stuff?
No, we did. We split it up. We did some Van Halen stuff, and we did most of all the Eat 'Em and Smile, most of that whole record. But it was fun because I remember a rehearsal. It never really hit me until I'm in rehearsal and I'm playing and I'm on fire and I'm singing, "I'm on fire," singing the harmony. And Dave is next to me and he's singing, "I'm on fire," and all of a sudden I realized, holy cow, I'm in Dave's band. This is pretty amazing.
Cool, man. Cool.
Well, I had the opportunity to join a third version of Dave's band. I told this story, but you didn't. I don't think you ever heard. Malcolm Mendoza was in it.
Oh, wow.
And he had some guitar player, and we were rehearsing at the Sound City, where we keep my drums at my friend Greg's studio. So we came down, and the first time the guitar player didn't show up. So the second day, Dave comes in, and he's wearing this outfit. And I swear, Billy, it looked like a Holiday Inn bedspread and curtain set. It looked like pajamas. Right? So when I went in, I said, "Hey, Dave, what do you got, your pajamas on or what?" Kidding around.
That probably didn't go over well.
Next day, I never heard from him again.
But he got a deal from the Holiday Inn. The Holiday Inn called Carmine.
Yeah.
You turned them off. So Tallis, I tell you, I love that band.
Thank you.
Is there a chance? I mean, are you working on another project?
The new record's almost done. It's about ready to mix. We had a great program called Audio Movers. I was able to sit here in Nashville and produce Phil singing in Toronto with no delay. It was amazing.
You got to get me that program. I told Vinny about that program.
Pretty incredible. So we would do our. Yeah, we would do our talk back with Zoom, and Phil unfortunately was in a situation he didn't announce it publicly until recently. He has some cancer situation in his throat, but he still managed to sing. It didn't affect his voice. He still managed to sing everything. So as soon as he got done, now he's on quite an extensive program of treatment, and it's going very, very well. He's one of the sweetest guys.
He's awesome. He sang on one of the Cactus new tracks that's coming out as well.
Oh, great! Oh, I'm so glad you got to work with him.
He's great. And we had that band Platinum Rock All Stars that played the Akata. Ron had me, Gene Cornish, Jeff Downs, Rudy Sarzo. It was like, and we played a little bit of everybody's songs. Those kind of band. And Phil did great. He sang everybody's stuff so great.
It was a fabulous night. Standing ovation, incredible. Remember that, Carm? The fans were going nuts. They couldn't believe all that talent. My stage almost caved in with all that talent on there. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, it was a big crowd. It was really a lot of fun.
It's really something. We've been doing these shows, guys, and a lot of prominent bass players, keyboardists, obviously drummers, and I'm just amazed. I'm in awe of not only of the talent and all the legendary iconicism of all you guys, but really how many lives you've touched and how many bands and projects you kind of guys been part of. I mean, Billy, how many, like, you've been off for a while, right? Obviously with the COVID stuff, but you're busier now than ever, I heard.
Well, yeah, I'm similar to what Tony said. I'm doing a lot of tracks for people around the world. They're sending me stuff to play bass on, and it's wild because you never know when you open up that file, you never know what it's going to be.
I know.
As you guys well know, I'm sure.
Oh,
so you got to make the best of it. We want to please the client and make sure they're happy with it, and that's really cool. But and thank you, Ron, for wearing the Winery Dog shirt too. I appreciate that very much.
Stop it,
Billy.
Vinny.
That comes off.
Billy,
that comes off, right?
Wait, Billy, is that an official shirt?
Vinny.
That was sold at the
I'm not sure.
I go through the trouble.
It's all crooked. Look,
I go through the trouble of doing this. I mean, every week, and I don't know why. This is a lot of trouble that we got to go through to do this.
It's off center. I mean,
I'm sitting off center.
You know, it's funny. Every week he'd wear the T-shirt of the artist. I started wearing stage shirts.
Yeah,
just a goof, just for a goof, you know.
When are you going to step up, Apathy?
which one? Hey,
you're Apathy.
You're the Apathy.
This would be the ultimate rhythm section.
Oh my God!
Billy, and Tony, right?
We should do an album like this. This would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
Now,
awesome.
excuse my musical ignorance here with this question, but are there situations? I thought I saw James Brown do this actually when I did a show with him 1,000 years ago. Is it having two bass players at one time? Does that happen?
Well, actually, we did that. Carmine, Billy, and myself. I don't think you were there, Vinny, with Sam Kinison. You remember that?
Yes.
What a ride!
Was that at the Palace?
Yeah,
or at the Palace,
91 or 92 or something.
Yeah,
was Bon Jovi there? Bon Jovi there too?
I don't remember. I just remember. I remember us playing.
I got a photo of Sam, myself, and Bon Jovi, and Tony. I think you were there, and Carmine. I think you were there.
I was there. I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, what a ride!
Funny.
We did a version of going down.
That's right.
And one of us, Billy or myself, we played octaves apart. So you know, it's like you read it and you listen and make it work. We're both playing the same part. Then
we gotta think about that. Let's see who would buy that. What label would front the money to do that?
Tell me that again, though, for us novices. How would that work? You say you play the same but an octave apart?
Yeah.
So if we did it in G, then Billy would be playing. So I'd be playing it up here.
I see.
Yeah, so we just kind of stay out of each other. And whenever I'm with another bass player, I play really like staccato, play a couple notes, drop away, a few notes, drop away. Of course, us bass players, we are all about the drummer, so we watch the drummer. So I lock into that, and it works out fine. I've done it.
Now, if we played that song like that, and you guys are playing that, Vinny would play down, and I'd play it, and we'd have up and down and octaves. That's awesome.
Come on.
Let everybody go crazy.
Let
ready.
You know what to listen to.
To answer your question, great players, they listen to each other, and you come up with
right.
what's needed to make the song sound.
Exactly.
Whatever the instruments are,
Exactly.
It's rare that there are two bass players, but we make it work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're right.
That would be an interesting, awesome evening.
Yeah. Me and Vinny just did a track for some drummer. He sent it to us, and Vinny created this map. Tell him what was that map?
I didn't know they had it, but it's in Cubase, an audio track, arranger track. And you could make blocks of, count off 4 bars, Carmine 4 bars, different colors. And it was so easy to play to because we kept switching parts and then together. So it took a while to do it, but it worked so easy. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was like a map. You just watch the screen.
Okay, here comes my color. Boom, come in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Tony, let me ask you a question.
Drumming by numbers. Go on.
Yeah.
One of your, obviously, again, both you guys, as I said before, accolades, bands, projects, not enough time to talk about even a fraction of them. But in particular, the Gilmore project, he, to me, seems like kind of not out there, just very, very deep. What was your relationship, or what was that work environment to work with David?
Well, it was a very short thing, actually, because I did a one-off gig, and that once again came through Roy Harper. He and Roy Harper go way back. Roy sang "Have a Cigar" on "Wish You Were Here," and so I did this one-off gig at the London Palladium with David Gilmour and Kate Bush.
Wow.
And, it was fantastic. It was a great gig. And then a few weeks after that, David called me and asked me, well, they just got the name back for Pink Floyd. Roger Waters was out of the band, and they asked me if I wanted to join Pink Floyd. And Do you know what happened, Carmine?
No.
I had signed an agreement with Blue Murder and Ron like 3 days before that.
Oh, man.
They would not let me out. Ron said they put an injunction on me if I stepped away.
Oh my God.
That's terrible.
So,
Wow.
That was pretty selfish, man.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
I never would have met you.
Selfishly, yeah.
This is one of these moments that, I talked about this in the book, how things work out, because immediately that would have seemed like, wow, what a bummer. I could have been part of Pink Floyd, touring the world and all that. But you just don't know how life is meant to be. Yes, it took me on to Blue Murder and all the things that have followed from
And
there.
Guitar Zeus.
All the things that we've done, you just never know. I mean, I was in a very self-destructive place as well back then, so you just don't know. So I just have to trust the process. That it's like, no matter how I tried, I wanted to go that way, but life said you're going that way, and there's nothing I could do about it. So I just kind of, at the time it stung, but when you stand back and get, introspect, it's like, well, maybe it happened for the best. And so
Tony,
I find all things like that. And then there are things where I should have messed up. There's like gigs that I did, especially in the early days leading up to the film. It's like, there's no way I should have pulled that off perfectly. I was out of my mind, and I was off on another planet. I should have blown that gig, but it didn't. It all happened. So it's funny, when something's meant to be, it's meant to be, and when it's not meant to be, hey, it's just not going to happen. So
yeah, that's right.
Nice
that happened to me with when I knew John Sykes, and one day we were at a party with a bunch of people, and John and David came up to me and said, "I'd love for you to do our next album." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. I have my own band, King Cobra. I can't just leave King Cobra and join Whitesnake." So I said, maybe once you get Ainsley or something. So that was that big album in 1987, the huge album. I missed out on it because I was signed to Capitol Records.
Yeah,
I bet everybody's got that story.
Yeah.
If that had happened, then Blue Murder may not have happened because of you just don't know, do you? It's like,
yeah, I would have. Maybe I would have stayed on with Whitesnake if when John left.
Yeah, you just don't know. You never.
But
know.
I mean, Blue Murder was one of my, for me and you, and John, was probably one of the best things we've done in our careers. Blue Murder was
I
awesome.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, musically and everything, it brought out the best of us and really pushed us to places that we probably wouldn't normally go. And also, it's rare to have a musical vehicle where you can do that. I mean, that's the thing. You can play busy, you can play in a certain way, but if it's, I mean, you couldn't have played like you played with Blue Murder with Rod Stewart. It just wouldn't work.
No.
So
Totally
it's
not.
like, it's having that vehicle and that moment and those songs and the whole
I
thing.
remember when we were recording that, we did everything to a click, and I remember telling Bob Rock, "Oh, I did that drum fill before. I want to replace it." And I went through every song and I replaced all the drum fills so there wasn't a duplicate drum fill in any of the songs, And that's the care we took for that record. It was unbelievable.
Good stuff,
man.
man.
No, absolutely. It still sounds great. It really does.
Yeah.
Now you do it at home.
Yeah.
That's right.
Total
Hey, Billy,
control. Love it.
Billy, we talked, obviously the whole dichotomy of David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, that kind of drama thing. But then, maybe it's got something to do with you because then early you got Shanker and UFO and Phil, that whole situation. Now, you played in both of those situations, right, David? Shanker and UFO bands, right?
Michael Schenker, I went to record his solo record in London, but in the end we didn't end up doing it. Myself and Denny Carmassi, Montrose drummer and later Heart. But in the end, Michael had kind of a breakdown, so we left and we ended up not going back. But then a year later, UFO called me to come and do a European tour with them.
Would you say did it wind up being, because Shanker played by us and UFO played by us, and I was very excited, obviously, every year. And was there a tremendous style difference between the two? Did one of them try to be different than the other?
You mean
separated?
You mean Paul Chapman, guitar, UFO guitar? No, Paul just did his own thing. He knew he had to do parts that were Michael's, but he didn't impose a lot of pressure on himself. And Michael was a well-renowned guitar player, but his real renown came as the years went by and people realized it. So at the time, people didn't look at it as though he was certainly a major presence in UFO. I don't think it was till years later that people really looked at Michael with the proper awe
level, right?
They should.
Yeah, you're right. I think it almost took him to leave UFO to really get the respect that he deserved, right?
I think so.
And also knowing Phil Mogg, how freaking crazy he is, I would think that would have been really tough, even for you to join the band. Really, was it?
Well, yeah, I was the voice of reason.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, needed. I know Phil. Believe me.
One time we were on stage somewhere in Europe, and Phil was, barely, and he's singing, and the mic is down by, and I'm on the mic singing his parts a lot of times, just so people wouldn't get too mad. And he fell out the front of the stage, and all you could see was his mic cable going to the edge of the stage, and it was gone. And I looked over at Andy Parker, the drummer, and I go, Andy, what are we doing? And he goes, they can keep him.
I could see that. I could totally see that. Tony, I mean, we talk about some of these other guys, and I got to admire you for so many things, but one of the particular, you've referenced kind of loosely the demons in this conversation, and I'm sure you're talking about that a little bit in the book, but I got to admire your courage for, you talk about it. You learned from it, and I think other musicians have learned from it. You find that you've influenced people because you're willing to share your experience about your demons and the courage that you've shown?
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows up in unexpected ways. I mean, I'm not one of these people that goes around, kind of preaching it or doing all that. To me, I think your example speaks far more loudly than anything that you say. But I get feedback out of the blue, and people send me fan mail and all that stuff, and it's quite touching at times, and some of it is pretty emotional and pretty deep. I'm fairly regular on Cameo as well, these personalized video stuff, and been doing quite a few of those in lockdown as well. And some of the requests that I get, you think it's going to be, hey, happy birthday and all that, and play it on the bass. But some of them, one guy had just lost his brother like a month ago from cancer, and so he needed a little pep talk and all that. And it's like, I take these things very, very seriously. And so, I give them some words. I do a little prayer ahead of time because I want to make sure that I give them something of value. And it's not for my ego or anything like that. And so I've drawn on a lot of experiences. Well, they say that wisdom comes from experience and experience comes from making mistakes, right? And so I've made plenty of mistakes and learned a lot of things the hard way, but it makes you more appreciative of life, of people, of struggle. And I've been down at the very bottom and everywhere in between. And it humbles you in a good way so that you get more compassionate and empathetic and understanding. So, it's surprising. I mean, I do the rock and roll fancy camp, and people have told me that, and I'm not trying to convince people to do things, but they tell me that they quit drinking or one guy quit doing heroin and all that stuff. It gets heavy sometimes. And, it's very, very touching. So I want the book to kind of touch on that stuff without me telling them, I'm so great, I beat this. No, I couldn't have done it by myself. I've had a lot of help along the way, and some of it I'll call otherworldly. It definitely there's a power greater than myself that has brought me to this point. And I've like many, been on death's door a number of times. I've been called over. One time I was given the choice. I was driving home late at night after a late night gig, and I'm a long time meditator, so I went into this meditative zone, driving along, I was perfectly aware of the road, and I heard this voice, like we're talking right now, and it said to me, "Are you ready to go?" And I said, out loud, I said, "No, I'm not ready to go. I've got too much to do, and I've got to take care of my family." And so that was it. Then I went out of the meditative space, and I fell asleep at the wheel doing 70 miles per hour about 20 minutes later.
That's crazy.
And I walked away from it completely unhurt. And the car was
crazy.
It is. Yeah, man. I remember that.
There you go. So it makes you wonder, it's like if I'd said, yeah, you know what, I've had enough, I'm out of here. That would have probably been it. And so, I cannot help but wonder that there's something going on bigger and beyond ourselves. So I just try to, keep everything in perspective and be a good person at the end of it. The world needs more kindness.
That's it.
More goodness. And it's not
being
difficult.
Good, being a good person, man. That's it.
Well, it's an interesting use of cameo. Right? You think of the happy birthday and all that stuff, but
I do the happy birthdays.
I know you do.
Over the summer, so Vinny, could you wish my Fraser Sabbath fan happy birthday? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm the birthday specialist.
Too, but, I get some of the other stuff as well.
I don't get the other stuff.
It's an interesting perspective with regards to use of cameo. It's really interesting. Hey, Billy, again, one of my favorite bands. I love Winery Dogs. Love Winery Dogs. Love Winery Dogs.
Yeah, we see the shirt.
Listen, who invited him?
Look at that shirt. I can't get over that shirt.
Armand, you said Vinny wasn't going to pick on me anymore.
No, I never said that.
Oh, man.
You said you're going to pick on him.
This is the worst shirt yet. This is the worst shirt.
It's the thought that counts. Billy, will you come to my rescue, please?
Yeah, but I want to know why.
You look quite handsome in that shirt, I might.
Thank you. Anyway, let me get back to the subject. Let me come back to the subject at hand. So, can you tell me? I mean, again, Portnoy, major guy, of course. Tell me the evolution of Winery Dogs. How that whole thing happened.
Well, oddly, Mike contacted me, wanted to maybe do a band with John Sykes.
I knew that was coming.
So we got together and did a couple demos, but it just for no real reason it didn't click. And but Mike said, yeah, I really want to do a band together. We need to find a singing guitar player. And I don't know why I didn't think of Richie, because Richie's one of my dearest friends and my favorite singing guitar player. And so Eddie Trunk mentioned, well, why not Richie Costa? And I go, oh, of course. So we went over to Richie's house, and he's got a little drum kit there and a bass and a little couple of amps in his little rehearsal room. And we just started. And within a couple of days, we had most of the first record. So it was real organic, and I'm really happy. My top three records: Eat 'Em and Smile, Mr. Big, Lean Into It, and the first Winery Dogs record. Those are the ones I'm most pleased with and most honored to be a part of. So it's pretty cool. And we'll do some more stuff coming up. We want to get together as soon as we can to start working on new music for a new Winery Dogs record.
We should do a Winery Dog Sons of Apollo tour.
Yeah, I'll play both shows.
I did that once with Cactus and Vanilla Fudge. That was pretty wild.
I would love. That's what we got
with Tim. Tim was playing with us too at the time, and that was pretty wild. Yeah, pretty wild.
I'd love to.
Well, you know what? It's been really fun because you guys right near the beginning, you played my place, the Arcada, with Winery Dogs, and I remember the first show. We didn't sell out the first show. People were like trying to figure out what this is about. And those fans left there shaking their heads like, holy crap, can you have them back next week? I'm like, not next week, but soon. And it's been fun to be, you know, a little part of the
you're
winery.
a very big part, Ron. We're very pleased that you hired us, and we love playing the Arcada Theater.
Yeah.
And a little restaurant right next door. I always hit up for lunch at the office. Is it the office?
Yeah.
They got a great cheeseburger, by the way. So.
Oh yeah, man. So let me ask you, Tony. You know, you've been with so many of these bands. It just blows me away. But tell me a little about. We got to talk about the Fretless. We got to talk about that whole evolution of that, because obviously that's one of the things that defines you.
Yeah. Well, thanks. And I will have to wrap this up fairly soon because it's my.
Oh, that's right.
Birthday.
That's right.
We're going to be going for dinner, so this is good timing. Fretless, well, you know, I was playing the fretted bass. I was feeling pretty proficient on it, playing it from like 11 years old, blah blah, and then I heard Jaco Pastorius for the first time, and it's like, wow! I didn't know a bass could have that presence, that kind of voice and sound to it, and it's like I had to have a fretless bass. I always loved the precision bass, so I wanted to get a fretless precision bass, and so that's what I got, and modified it so I could have that sound, because I wasn't getting the sound out of it like Jaco got with that punchy and the harmonics and all that, and so, you know, which became the basis of my signature model. It's wild, really. This is the original firm fretless right here. And you see, I put in the extra pickup right there, and then the.
Is that you played that in the firm?
Yeah, this is the radioactive.
Oh wow!
So that's the one.
You played that on Blue Murder. You played that on Blue Murder too, I think. Didn't you?
No, that wasn't Blue Murder. That was the JD bass.
Okay, well, it's the same color though. You had a dark one.
And then fast forward to 2020. This is the latest. Oh, sorry.
Our blooper reel. On our blooper reel.
That's what happens when you're doing an advertisement on here.
High tech stuff. So this is the the signature one. It's exactly the same thing. It has the extra pickup and the three-way selector switch. So anyway, you know.
Hey, Tony. Tony, what kind of pickups are you using?
It's the
stock Fender
pickup is the stock Fender, and then that's a DiMarzio in there.
Great, because my new DiMarzio is rounded off and a very special pickup. When we're done, get in touch and I'll send you a set. And they're doing a jazz version of it also. Pretty cool.
Nice.
I'd love for you to have them. I think you'll enjoy them.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely follow up on that. Well,
go ahead. I interrupted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's good. It's good. So it's like I need a pickup for my bass. Which one am I going to get? Well, I saw on the back of a Kiss album in 1983 that they used DiMarzio pickups, right? Even though they always put Kiss uses DiMarzio pickups. So my reasoning was, well, if Kiss uses them, they must be loud. So I went into the local music shop in Derby, England, and I said, I want a DiMarzio bridge pickup for my bass. They said, well, which one? I said, the loudest one. And so they gave me the Model J, and I put it in myself with a soldering iron and a drill and a chisel, and that's about it. And it worked.
Yeah.
And then it just but it wasn't instant. I mean, it wasn't like instantly like this prodigy on the fretless bass. It was a journey. It was a couple of years before it really started to click. And then it just then that was it. It hit. It clicked. And it became the voice that I use with the firm, and from there on. So it wasn't a conscious thing thinking, oh, this can be a unique thing. This can be something that can be me. I just enjoyed it so much that it gave me such freedom and my own. Well, I didn't think, well, you don't really play fretless bass in rock. I didn't think that way. It's like it's the bass. It's what I play, and it seemed to work very well in rock. So I just stuck with it and keep going.
Well, thank you so much, Tony, for being here. We know it's your lovely wife's birthday. Wish her the best from us.
You got it.
We also have Tony. I did a special thing. I did a name that beat, thing that we'll show here in a minute. It's a song that I did with you, with John, and we'll see if anybody out there can recognize it from the drum pattern.
I think I saw that one. I won't spill the beans.
Well, it might be. I did 3 or 4 of them, so I don't know. So you're gonna know it, of course. But let's see if the audience knows it while you're leaving. Okay?
Let's do it real quick. Let's do it.
With the sound off.
All right, let's do the name that beat real quick.
Go ahead, Carmine. Lay it on us.
There you go. Okay, this next one is one I did about a month and a half ago, but people want to hear it again, and I can't find the video, so I'll do it again for you. This is one done in the late 80s with a super group, and this was the title song of the album. And this was a really cool groove. And I just gave it away. The thing about it is,
I already tuned down, so I knew what it was going to be.
16 notes at the beginning, making it feel differently. So it has some roughs at the beginning, 4-stroke roughs, 3-stroke roughs. You don't have to do all that, Ben. I thought you were going to cut all that crap out. It's all out of sync.
Oh yeah. Was that Lavender Homicide?
No.
What's that?
Lavender Homicide? No.
That was out of sync. That's what it was. Okay,
Well,
not Valley of the Kings. It wasn't Valley of the Kings.
No, come on.
Come on. Somebody else.
Lavender. I think it's Lavender Homicide.
I gave it away. I said it's a title. There you go. Blue Murder by Blue
There
Murder.
we go.
Blue Murder by Blue Murder.
Done.
Very nice. Very nice.
Once again, Tony.
It's great.
See you, Tony. Send my love to Heidi, huh?
Yeah, say hi to Heidi.
Daughter. Okay. Bye-bye.
Wishing you the best, bro. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Tony Franklin.
Okay.
Thank you for being with us, Tony Franklin, from so many great bands. So, Billy, we talked about his fretless. Tell me about a signature act that you have called The Wife.
It's right here, as a matter of fact.
The Wife.
We've got the wife. The wife is here.
Where's the
it's
wife?
right on the shelf, right there. She is.
There she is.
That's
Why did you name her The Wife?
Well, because it's with me so much. When I was a single man, I figured this might as well be my wife because it's omnipresent. But the reason I have a Telecaster neck on that bass is because I saw Tim Bogert on the Beck Bogert Napaseat record.
There you go. See that?
And I said, well, that must be the secret. So I got a Tele bass, took the neck off, put it on my P bass, and Tim later told me that it wasn't actually a Tele bass. It was just they did the headstock like that for him on that. So, but it was great to know. But Tim, I got to say, here with Carmine here, I got to say what a wonderful man he was, generous to me, and every time I got a chance to speak his praises, I do. You know, Tim Bogert is a huge influence on me, and I love him dearly.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because you hear all the salutes to Eddie Van Halen. Great guy, genius musically, focused, and you know, it's exactly how Tim was described.
Well, very much. He was a good
innovator.
Innovator, right? Very innovative, just like Eddie. You know,
brilliant.
You hear a lot of similarities there, really, if you think about it.
Very much so, and he sang his ass off, and it was great. But
So
can I tell a Vinny story though?
Please do.
I got to tell a Vinny
it's a bad one. Will it
no, it's a good one.
Please. No, will it embarrass him? Please?
No. Come on, it's good. I work a lot with another drummer down here in Nashville, Ray Lugier, who plays with Korn, and he's he's a huge Vinny fan, a huge Carmine fan. Yeah. And we're talking about you one night, Vinny, and I said I was doing the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and me and Rudy Sarzo had to pick the drummers or rate the drummers. So we had about 8 or 10 guys that were drummers, just the campers. And some of them could kind of play, but it was rough because I'm lucky I played with some great drummers. So it's, you know, we encouraged them and everything. And it was just it was drudgery. It was hard work, but we kept a smile on. And good job, sounded good. We got. And I didn't see. I turned my back to the kit. I did not see Vinny come in the room and sit down at the kit. Oh. All he did was take a single stick and hit the snare drum, and I spun around. It was it sounded so much more amazing than anything we'd heard all day. One hit on the snare drum spoke volumes about the finesse that a drummer has. Both these brothers, they have, and they have so much of it. That finesse. And Carmine, we were just playing that little track that you just did there. All the little extra little ghost notes and things. Man. Yeah. So great. It's such an honor to know you guys.
I taught Vinny all that stuff, so he learned well.
But
I knew you'd say that, too.
I play it louder.
The story is with Vinny, when I came home, I used to go home to Brooklyn, right? And I drive my Pantera home. I walk in the house with my full stage gear, with Vanilla Fudge, velvet jackets, everything. I left the drum set home. And then Vinny would go he would go in the room and he dragged me in there and he stopped playing. He was like 8 years old. I said, what the hell is this, And my mother said, what do you think? I said, wow, this is great. He goes, this is great. He goes, he's driving me crazy just like you did. And we, on our album, we have a song called Brothers in Drums, which we tell that story. We even put that little bit in there, that lyric in there. But from then on, I said, oh, my God. So my mother said, what should we do with him? I said, send him for lessons. So he went to my teacher. They taught him all those books, that one book he's got there and all the classics. By the time he was 12, we were both sitting around listening to Billy Cobham, figuring out what Billy's doing. And he was 12 years old. And I'm going, whoa, this is ridiculous. Oh, and then one thing I remember, I did a symposium for Ludwig. Symposium was like the fantasy camps. So Vinny came. I took my girlfriend at the time, and Vinny must have been 9 or 10. And Joe Morello was the drummer. I was replacing him for Ludwig. Now, I was the only rock guy that ever did this stuff. Everybody else was jazz guys at the time. So Joe says, hey, let's take some fours, Carmine. I'm going, I don't want to take fours with Joe Morello, So Vinny's over there pulling on my pants, going, go ahead, Carm. Play with him.
Little brother.
And I said, Vinny, you go play with Joe Morello, I don't want to play with Joe Morello. But anyway, I went up. I did play with him. That's when I realized that I can do stuff he couldn't. Like the
that was your signature for so long.
I did that, and he couldn't do it. I went, whoa. And then later on, he talked to me. He said, man, what was that? That was cool. Later on at the next symposium, we did it together.
Oh,
he
cool.
said, hey, the name of Peace or Apathy, he would call me Apache. He'd go, hey, Apache, what's this? And he learned it. If
I can indulge you with one more story. When we were kids and listened to the Vanilla Fudge record, it was one of the biggest records in my life. I listened to that thing 1,000 times. And I loved the singing, the guitar, the keyboards, everything. Of course, the drumming and the bass was mind-blowing. And I remember at the end of Keep Me Hanging On where it drones and you play that one double bass.
That wasn't me.
I know. I found out later that was Tim hitting the string on the bass.
Hitting the bass.
Wow.
Which nobody did in those days.
Oh,
right? So and he did that, and I got that question so many times. How did you do that double bass with one bass drum? That's not me.
Yeah,
wow.
you launched 1 million double bass drummers with that, not realizing.
Hey, Billy, do you have any? I mean, we touched a little bit on the fretless with Tony. Do you have any experience? Not experience, but I mean, do you use fretless on occasion?
Not that much. I brought out. I got a Yamaha fretless Attitude, and I brought it out for Tony's honor, and in case we wanted to play some. But we didn't end up doing any playing, so I just wanted to have it on hand in case I needed to pay tribute to Tony.
We got to get you guys back. We could do some playing.
Yeah, man.
Love to. Yeah, when the whole virus thing is over, it'd be great to do these live, at the Arcada.
Yes.
We should do just at the Arcada. We should do the double drum, double bass thing and get together.
No, we got to do that. That'd be awesome. That's cover Rolling Stone right there, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
that's awesome. That'd be great.
So what do you got,
Fantastic.
Billy? You got anything on the horizon besides? I mean, we can't really do a whole lot of obviously the touring right now, but between Sons, between the Dogs, what do you think you're going to do?
Sons and Dogs.
Sons and Dogs.
Tour. I mean, any new projects with those two bands?
No, we had to stop the tour, the European tour, when the whole COVID thing happened in the beginning of March. So unfortunately, the Sons of Apollo, the new record, was really well received. It looked like we're going to have a great run. Sadly, we couldn't continue with that. So we'll continue with that as soon as we can. I love those guys. It's a great band.
Yeah, we had Derek. We had Derek on the show, and he told us that story.
Yeah.
So
I love Derek. Derek, all the guys in your band, great guys.
Right on.
Jeff Scott Soto, amazing.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And Carmine, I have to thank you for coming down to the Iridium when we played there with Talus.
Yeah.
Our drummer, Mark Miller, was so jazzed that you were kind enough to come down, and
man,
he's total fan.
I always heard about Talus. I never saw you guys.
Yeah,
so
it was
I had to
cool.
come and see it. I had to come and see it.
Well, you touched on it a little bit earlier, Billy, about the legendary and iconicness of these two guys. I mean, I'm humbled every week to be in their presence, all kidding aside. I mean, really, and they hate hearing this stuff, but, there's the Krupas and the Riches of the world, and then there's these two guys. And
I agree.
I think it's just tremendous. So it's an honor to be with these guys. It's an honor and so great to see you, Billy. One of our favorite, honest to God, one of our favorite guys. The fans adore you. You give the fans back. You're really friendly with them. You're very generous with them. So we just wish you the best, and thanks for being on the show this week.
Yeah.
Thank you all. And to the two brothers, and you guys are just so awesome. I'm just an honor to be near you guys, and I love both your playing so much. The uniqueness of each of you as well, and also the similarities. They're both wonderful. Yeah. And Ron, thank you again for having me on the show. And
hey, Ron, after that speech about me and Vinny, when we do this, the price just went up.
Oh, man.
We love Ron. When we were talking about who could we get as a host, and his name came up, I said,
"Perfect.
Ron's got to be the guy."
That's
perfect. I warned
because he makes the best meatballs. He has the best of meatballs.
Well, Billy, you cook.
I cook a lot.
Yeah, he cooks unbelievable.
Billy, so tell me about we got to go, but real quick, tell me about your cooking.
Well, I just did my 4th version of ribs, and I was a little bit intimidated because there's so much to making ribs and making them fall off the bone. Wow. So I just Googled and mixed a couple of recipes together, and we nailed it. It was fantastic.
So there's a thing I did because I love to cook. These guys know that, and I had we were doing a like a prototype show called the Backstage Kitchen, because when I first got the Arcada, I didn't have the power, the electricity to put a stove anywhere else but on stage. So I had the stove for the first few years on stage, and I would be cooking for the bands. In fact, Carl Palmer was I found out that he loved these certain potatoes in England that his grandma used to make. I got the recipe. So he's walking out, and literally, you guys know when you walk on stage to the left, up from the dressing rooms, the stove was on the left. So he saw someone making these potatoes. The show was 20 minutes late. He's like, "Oh my God, I gotta have those potatoes now." Graham Nash, same thing. I was cooking, and he was like, "You know what? I never did an encore so fast because I was starving. I was smelling that garlic. You cheated." He goes, "You cheated your audience. They were going to get a 6-song encore. They got a 2-song encore because I was starving." And I did this thing called Backstage Kitchen, with Eddie Money, and it was tremendous.
Oh, wow.
And what we did was I set up the whole kitchen and the cameras all over, and the place was full. The theater was full of, it was an Eddie Money show. And we did it like 20 minutes before the show. We have that big video screen, right? So so the audience was watching us backstage. I gotta send this video. We made lasagna, vegetable lasagna. He was tremendous. And then we tasted it. His daughter tasted it, and then on with the show. He walked out and he started doing it. So the point of this whole story, this long story, you got to come do Backstage Kitchen with me.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Do your ribs.
And you guys got to, if you do ribs, you got to use Nico McBrain's rib sauce. I know it was Bumblefoot's rib sauce.
Okay, yeah,
right.
But yeah, he's got a great barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys,
and hot
thank you
sauce.
so much. We'll see
All
you
right,
next week. Everybody like and share and tell everybody about Artists on Lockdown, Hanging and Banging with Carmine, Vinny, and our special guest. Especially, we want to thank Tony Franklin and, of course, the great Billy Sheehan. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you,
everybody.
Billy.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Much love to all you guys. Take care and stay healthy.
You too,
Bye-bye.
Billy. Be
Bye-bye.
safe.
Bye-bye.
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 Take care. You too.